we think we've evolved, but I actually think we've lost so much.
Yes, I think we've lost
Yeah.
a lot.
The word myth, in a modern sense, implies, first of all, something which is untrue.
Yes.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a myth.
It's
Milk
just
makes you this.
derogatorily.
That is a myth.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
now when I teach in religious studies in the classroom, I'm telling them, look, we are using the word myth in a different sense.
Yeah.
In the religious sense, a myth is not measured by its factual correctness or incorrectness. A myth is any story that shapes our reality.
Yes.
The power of myth is, in fact, us, because human beings are myth makers all the time.
We give it power.
We build a myth around our personality, around our life story, around the environment, around the physical space and sacred geography. It's all myth making that gives us a way to organize the world, the chaos, to organize it into some meaningful, coherent framework.
To understand
So
it better,
the
actually.
myth, the Abrahamic myth of Shabbat, of Sabbath, of the seventh day of rest, organizes that those traditions time according to a cycle, 6 days of work, 7 days of rest, because that's what God did in the creation. But it doesn't matter if the world was created actually in 7 days or not. But for us, by taking rest on the seventh day, it is because we have that myth in the back of our mind. So a myth is present. A myth works. A myth is only measured by its efficacy, if it works or not. And the truth value, the factual, can be in, to me as a scholar who studies a civilization such as India, I am exploring myth and how it is lived. How it is lived, because if 1.2 billion people believe in the myth of Shiva,
Yeah. It
Then
structures their experience.
it's a reality that I want to talk about.
It's such a scientific way of putting things, isn't it? I mean, if you actually look at it, though, the science is supposed to be different, but this entire exercise is extremely scientific, making boxes, putting things, giving them labels, making a timeline. Isn't that what science does?
I think
I mean-
myth has the power to reveal. Mythology, I won't call it myth.
Yeah.
Mythology has the power to reveal. And it's like the finger pointing to the moon. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah.
It will help us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
It's not the moon, if you mistake the finger for the moon,
Yeah,
but it is pointing to the moon, because
Yes.
how else do you do it?
and it's pointing as a story, right?
It's pointing at the story.
Stories.
But
Story.
all these stories have been actually, meaning there is a lived experience. Usually there are a number of people who have been present there, and there's supposed to be three elements in it. A particular time, a particular space, and persons. When that conjunction happens, there can be a revelation. That revelation is experienced by all, because for somebody it is often difficult to understand the reality of what they know as an individual unless they have, they're very firmly on the path. So then it becomes much easier. And when that's regarded as Shakti descending. So when Shakti descends into the manifest world, then everybody behaves according to their nature. And only the yogi, by the yogi I mean one who is awake, so he can do the work that has to be done. Because it's always about going beyond the I. If I am not there, then I can be an instrument. But as soon as I come into the picture, I've come into this.
Yeah.
Then
So the
limited.
Kumbh is, or I'd say was, at this point of time it's not happening like that, because a lot of things are not happening like that. But the Kumbh was like that. It was such a wonderful, I mean, that 40-day period of its tapasya. So that is revelatory of, you see creation, preservation and dissolution completely. And to experience that is absolutely, wonderful. And so therefore, I mean, in the old times, it was said that everybody did it on a fast. So you didn't eat, you ate palahari fruits, milk, all that. And the yogis did it just on the breath. But now the yogis do it on palahari. So to maintain that, and mind you, in the Srividya tradition also, and in any, there is that 40-day period, and it's true for Moses and that.
Yeah.
So because
All
in
religion.
40 days, the cells of your body
That's also
change.
related to health.
Yes.
I mean, all these myths and traditions were originally connected to nature and to
That's
nature of the
connectivity. See, that's
body.
the connectivity. That's where all the,
The body
religions
and the
ultimately
mind, because
converge to
there
a
was
point.
there was no distinction. They didn't have that notion that the mind and the body were something separate, or that the body was separate from nature. I mean, we think we've evolved, but I actually think we've lost so much.
Yes, I think we've lost
Yeah.
a lot. We've lost a lot. But I mean, it's a time, and there has to be. It's cyclical.
Yes.
So there's nothing very much to grieve, I guess.
And that's
There'll
what
be,
makes
there'll
it
be a
so-
closure and a new beginning.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
That's
And it's that's what makes it so interesting what we're doing. Because if we were there in it, we wouldn't even need to talk about it. But there's also something wonderful about rediscovering these things and connecting with them and then writing about them. I mean, the book,
Sharing them,
I
yeah.
really am so happy about the book because I read it all in a short period because I wanted to read as many of those as I could before I met all of you. And then I just found I was like, whoa, my head was buzzing, after reading the different people's accounts. You had to switch channels. Okay, now I'm in this person's worldview. And it was exciting. And even at times a little bit overwhelming because you really have to switch. But isn't life like that?
Yes.
When we
life is
meet
like that.
somebody different,
Yes.
I met you just now, so you and I could go in the corner and talk for like hours, and I would be all of a sudden immersed in your worldview, and we would be sharing it. I would do the same thing with you. But when a group of us come together, it's just like a synergy that's
Yes, and there's a
very
different
interesting.